and Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket, 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
What's going on? Welcome into the real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy's Sports Ticket. Thank you for tuning in, no matter how you're tuning in, whether that's YouTube, Indy's Sports Ticket. If you want to head over there and subscribe, maybe you're watching on X, _ Jonathan Smith to watch the show. You can follow me there as well. And as always, you can also listen on that Indy Sports Ticket app. It is Thursday. Big day today. Big day. Summer League starts. I'm going to not rip, but I'm going to continue to question the greatness of Caitlin Clark as the Fever lose by 19 points. 19 to the Golden State Valkyrie, an expansion team. Oh, man. The Fever were 6.5-point favorites at the time that game started. They opened as 8.5-point favorites. Everyone who took the Valkyrie, good job. And because they go on to win by 19. A team talent-wise that is so clearly inferior to the Indiana Fever. And it was just an ugly game. And as this Fever team continues to fall way below the expectation that everyone had for them before the season started. At one point, I meant to check this again this morning. Didn't. That's okay. At one point, though, they had they were the third favorite to win the WNBA Finals. As of right now, they are 9-10. 9-10. Below 500. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They would be the 7th seed today if the playoffs started. They would barely make the playoffs right now if the playoffs started today. If this was, a bigger league that had more than 13 teams in it, then they probably wouldn't be in the playoffs at all. They lost by 19 yesterday. It was just embarrassing. No other way to really put it. Okay, just an embarrassing loss. No other way to put it. I like red velvet cake. I promise this all connects. But I am a terrible baker. I am. I'm bad at everything in the kitchen. It's not good. I can do the dishes. I can clean. But when it comes to having to actually make food, it never goes well. So when I want red velvet cake with cream cheese icing, I can't make it from scratch. I'm just not talented enough to do that. One of my best friends in college loved to bake. He tried to teach me, didn't go well. So when I want delicious red velvet cake, I go, I either go buy a small one from Nothing Bundt Cakes, or I go buy the Betty Crocker box with the cake mix already in it, and I make it because it's easy, right? The cake mix is already made. I don't have to make that. Then you just need eggs, some vegetable oil, and water. But the most important thing is the cake mix, because you can substitute other things. Like if you don't have vegetable oil, then you could use avocado oil. That's what we use. Okay, if you don't have water, then, which I don't know why you wouldn't have water, you can use milk instead, and so on. And I can find eggs, I can find vegetable oil or water pretty much anywhere, though. Okay, I could go buy chickens and get eggs that way if I wanted to. I don't want to do that. That honestly sounds pretty terrible. But getting those 3 ingredients, easy. The most important thing is the cake mix. I can't make that. Okay, that's why I buy the box. And when I look at this Indiana Fever team, Caitlin Clark is the cake mix. Okay, you can find other good scorers like Kelsey Mitchell scattered around the WNBA. You can find other bigs like Aaliyah Boston who can make a layup and rebound. Okay, you can find Sophie Cunningham's, girls that try to play defense and can't make a three. You can find the other ingredients all over the place. But Caitlin Clark has to be the cake mix because she is capable of doing a bunch of things that her teammates simply can't do. Obviously, Caitlin Clark can score, right? And there's plenty of women on this Fever team who are capable of scoring the basketball. Kelsey Mitchell is their leading scorer. Aaliyah Boston's averaging 16 points a game. Natasha Howard is averaging 11.3 points a game. Aria McDonald, who the Fever just picked up, she's averaging 9.9 points per game. So the scoring, not a big deal. But the playmaking, Caitlin Clark averaging 8.6 assists a night. She's the only girl on her team who's doing anything close to that. The only one. Okay, she leads the league in assists. Her ability to set up her teammates is something. She's the only person on her team who possesses that skill. Their other guard, Kelsey Mitchell, only averaging about 2.5 assists per game. It's not very good. Their second leader in assists is the Aria McDonald, who's only played 8 games. And she's at 4.4. Aaliyah Boston's third with 3.5 assists per game. Caitlin Clark has to make things easier on her teammates. And as she continues to struggle, she continues to miss shots, and she continues to not make things easier on her teammates. She is the most important ingredient to this Indiana Fever puzzle or cake or whatever. Okay? She has to be better, and she continues to be underwhelming. And that is a very nice way of me saying that she has sucked here as of late. And I'm not just talking about yesterday, because there was no one for the Indiana Fever who played well yesterday. Kelsey Mitchell, only 3 of 13 from the field. What in the world? 3 of 13 from the field. That's pretty pitiful. That's not good. And that is not Caitlin Clark's fault that she was that bad. Now, could Caitlin Clark have made things easier on Kelsey Mitchell by driving into the lane and then kicking out for 3 and doing things like that? Absolutely. Finding cutters. Absolutely, she could have done that. She didn't. But once again, 3 of 13 for only, 12 points from Kelsey Mitchell. Not very good. Aaliyah Boston was 2 of 8 from the field for only 6 points. Aria McDonald, only 2 of 9 from the field for 7 points. Minus 20. By the way, Aaliyah Boston, minus 25 on the night. Sophie Cunningham played 21 minutes. She scored 3 points and was minus 18. She had more turnovers than she did field goals made. That's not very good. Now, obviously, Caitlin Clark, not exempt. Only 4 of 12 from the field. She wasn't very good either. When you have as many field goals made as you do turnovers, you probably didn't play a very good game. Simple as that. So no one played well for the Indiana Fever yesterday. But it starts with Caitlin Clark. If Caitlin Clark's really good, then the Fever win. It's really that simple. She has the talent. She has shown the ability to just be able to take over games and be amazing. And she hasn't done that enough this year. She was bad yesterday. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 turnovers. Only shot 4 of 12 from the field. To her credit, she was 2 of 5 from 3. I thought her shot selection, her willingness to not just pull up from 34 feet, good thing, right? That she kind of got away from that a little bit. I like that 7 of her shots came inside of the 3-point line. Either way, though, even though those things were better, she still wasn't very good. When you're the best player, everything starts with you. If LeBron James or Kevin Durant or Tyrese Halliburton or any other NBA star played as badly as Caitlin Clark did yesterday, then everyone would crucify them today. Do you remember game 3 against the Thunder? Tyrese Halliburton was bad. And the next day, I got on here and I ripped Tyrese Halliburton. And he had a really bad game against the Knicks, game 4. And I got on here and I ripped Tyrese Halliburton. He came back game 5 and he was awesome. That's just the way that it goes. Like when you're a star, this is how things work. And what's so frustrating about the coverage of Caitlin Clark is she is held to an entirely different standard. If Angel Reese had played as bad as Caitlin Clark did yesterday and the Chicago Sky had lost by 19, then it would be all over the internet. I wouldn't be able to get on X without seeing some clip of Angel Reese making a mistake. Crickets, though, for Caitlin Clark yesterday. Because she's super popular and all these people love her, and it's great. Didn't see anyone calling out how awful Caitlin Clark was yesterday or how awful she's been really all year. She was 4th in MVP voting last year. 4th. This is supposedly supposed to be like one of the 5 best players in the WNBA. She hasn't been that. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 turnovers on 4 of 12 shooting from the next best thing, for the best thing since sliced bread yesterday. That's it. And it's not like you were playing the New York Liberty or the Minnesota Lynx, two of the better teams in the WNBA. You were playing the 9-9, now 10-9, Golden State Valkyrie. That can't happen. Also, how does a team with 3 All-Stars, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Caitlin Clark, how does a team with 3 All-Stars have a 9-10 record? How does a team with the great Caitlin Clark have a 9-10 record? Someone explain that to me, please. Actually, never mind. No explanation needed. It's because Caitlin Clark hasn't been very good this year. And I'm just tired of people not calling it out. It is incredibly frustrating. Okay? As of right now, Caitlin Clark has reached this level where she is severely overhyped. She is. People love her way too much given how bad she has played this season. And yesterday, X is not everybody. I need to keep that in mind, but I do think this is one of the very few occasions where it is everybody. Yesterday, I saw people freaking out about how Caitlin Clark is not on the cover of NBA 26 and NBA 2K26, and Angel Reese is. First and foremost, 2K absolutely should put Angel Reese on the cover. She is every bit as popular as Caitlin Clark. Every bit as popular as Caitlin Clark is right now. Okay, like the WNBA fan base or whatever, it's split. There's a whole bunch of people who love Angel Reese. And guess what? If you put Caitlin Clark on the cover of NBA 2K26, do you know what you don't get? The outcry that you get when you put Angel Reese on the cover instead of Caitlin Clark. If they had put Caitlin Clark on the cover of NBA 2K26, then guess what? I'd have seen like 3 tweets, and they'd have been like, oh, good for Caitlin. But guess what? Because I put Angel Reese on the cover, I've seen so many. I'm online too much. I have seen so many posts about Angel Reese isn't deserving when she absolutely is. Because when you pick the cover of NBA 2K, you're not picking the best player. You're picking the most popular player. If you were picking the best player, then Carmelo Anthony wouldn't be on the cover of the Legacy Edition. It would just be Michael Jordan every year. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wouldn't be on the cover of the Standard Edition. It would just be Nikola Jokic every single year because he is the best player. Like, there's a reason why Nikola Jokic has never been on the cover of NBA 2K. It's because he's not a big brand. Angel Reese is. Also, with how she's playing right now, I went through it yesterday, averaging 19 points and 16 rebounds in her last 5 games, and she's shooting 49% from the field. There's a reason you haven't seen the montages of her missing layups. It's because she's not anymore. She's finishing around the rim, and she's playing really well. With how Angel Reese is playing right now, she 1,000% is playing well enough to be on the cover of a video game. And with how Caitlin Clark is playing right now, she absolutely does not deserve to be on the cover of a video game. 10 points, 6 assists, 4 turnovers, 4 of 12 from the field. Okay, she's shooting like 30% from 3 on the season. She's not playing well. She doesn't deserve to be on the cover of anything. Simple as that. Angel Reese absolutely does. And just the way that Caitlin Clark is covered has just reached this point where it's incredibly annoying. It's not really fair. And I'm just ready for the WNBA season to be over. I am. Because all the stuff around Caitlin Clark, it's just propaganda. Like, it's just like, oh, she's great. Just ignore every stat and ignore watching her play. She's great. You guys see this clip? She just made another 35-foot three. Isn't she the best? And then you go look at the box score. And she finished with like 8 points on like 3 of 13 shooting. She had 7 assists with like 8 turnovers. It's like, well, what about all this? And then all the Caitlin Clark fans are like, 35-foot three. You see this? It's just annoying, and I'm ready for it to be done. Something that I'm very excited that is starting, though. Sorry to be so negative to start today. By the way, Gritty asked if I was hot wearing this sweatshirt. The answer is no, because this studio remains freezing cold, which I don't mind because it allows me to wear my new Sydney Moncrief jersey. So I don't really mind it all that much. Thank you for being concerned about me, though, Gritty. I really do appreciate it. Parker Flemming is going to join the show coming up here in about 5 minutes. He writes a Memphis Grizzlies Substack. Jay Huff, Pacers' new center, played for the Grizzlies last year, so we're going to have Parker join, and he's going to tell us all we need to know about Jay Huff and all the skills that he brings to the table when it comes to playing center in the NBA. So very, very excited to have him on coming up here in about 4 minutes or so. So Parker Flemming of the Sackalidis Substack joins when we come back here in about 4 minutes.
fits in today's sports world. It's here. The real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
What's going on? Welcome back to the real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy's Sports Ticket. Thank you for tuning in, no matter how you're tuning in, whether that's YouTube, Indy Sports Ticket. If you want to head over there and subscribe, maybe you're watching on X__Jonathan Smith to follow there and watch the show there. You can also listen on that Indy Sports Ticket app. I am now joined by the one and only, my mic, the one and only Parker Flemming, who writes a Memphis Grizzlies-focused Substack called Sub-Sackalitis. Parker, what's going on, man? How are you?
Jonathan, man, I'm doing great. I'm currently in the airport going to Vegas. I'm just hoping that my flight isn't delayed anymore so that I can make my connection. But overall, can't complain. Going to Summer League. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm jealous. That is a basketball bucket list thing for me. I can't complain, though. I'm going on vacation tomorrow. So it's kind of hard for me to complain. I want to start with Jay Huff. You know, obviously a guy who played a lot of backup center for Memphis this year, recently traded to the Indiana Pacers for a second-round pick and a second-round pick swap. What were kind of your thoughts on Jay Huff in the minutes that he played for the Grizzlies this last year?
For sure. So how familiar are you with baseball?
With what?
With baseball.
Super familiar. Played a little bit of college baseball. Love it so much.
Okay, so Jay Huff's kind of like the relief pitcher or a pinch hitter, really. You know, he's not a guy that's going to be in your everyday, like for Memphis at least, he wasn't a guy in the everyday rotation. There's some games where you're like, oh, he's not going to be in the rotation, but then the Grizzlies needed a spark and they put him in the third quarter and he hits a three, gets a block, gets a reverse dunk, kind of gets the momentum of the game turning, and next thing you know, the Grizzlies have a lead. But also at the same time, like you look at productivity, primarily as a floor spacer and he's a good shot blocker, but not necessarily an anchor because he's not a great rebounder and he's not the most physical big man. He's not going to set any hard screens, but like, you know, I feel like he's the kind of big that Carlisle is going to get a lot of use out of because of his ability to space the floor. Last season for the Grizzlies, he made 40% of his threes on 200 total attempts. He shot like 9.6 threes per 36 minutes. Like this dude's a guy that gets it out of his hands with a very quick release. It can really kind of open up the floor in a lot of ways because if he's defended by fives and he's becoming this high volume 3-point shooter with a higher usage role and more minutes, that's just going to open up the floor for Pascal Siakam, Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith, Benedict Mathurin, guys like that to get downhill and also so he could play in transition. And that we all know the Pacers love to play fast no matter what. So, you know, with Memphis, it was just kind of time. They needed more of a, you know, bruiser, screen setter center with Zach Edey out and Jaren Jackson Jr.'s status for opening night is questionable. Brandon Clark's coming up another lower body injury. So like they just needed another pure big man. And it came at the expense of Jay Huff. They brought Jock Landell in as a veteran minimum signing. So we'll see how it all goes. But I think this is a really kind of a win-win for both parties here.
I agree. Jay Huff is really intriguing because, like you said, you look at the offense, you look at how he shot 40% from three, and his per 36 minutes look pretty. They're like really eye-popping. You're like, oh, wow. And so there's definitely some excitement here. My thing, though, that I'm really intrigued to see is, you know, like you said, he's kind of like a relief pitcher. Like he's not playing big minutes. Like, can he stay that efficient when he's playing 25 minutes a night instead of only, you know, 11? Which is interesting for me. I want to focus on the defense because I think people are pretty well acquainted with the offense. The rebounding thing. I was thinking about this the other day. Jaren Jackson Jr., not a great rebounder either. Is there any chance that the lack of rebounding from Jay Huff could be like a systematic thing from Memphis, like the way that they play defense kind of keeps him further away from the rim or anything like that?
Maybe. I will say, like, from like an offensive rebounding standpoint, at least, he's going to be spacing the floor a lot. And he is a guy that every now and then he'll come in and crash the glass in the perimeter and get a put-back dunk out of nowhere. Like, he'll do that. But, like, I don't think he is the most physical big man. I know I want to say his defensive estimated plus minus was a -1, or his offense is a +1. So like his offense and defense kind of like neutralize each other. So my only fear would be is if a higher, like a scaled up role kind of highlights his deficiencies and kind of shows like, hey, this is why he was a big man. But also too, at the same time, again, we like, even though he's gonna have his struggles defensively, like I don't think he's a pigeon on an island. You know, I like if he's on an island, I think he can hold his own. I wouldn't full on call him switchable, but if he got stuck in a cross match on the perimeter, I don't think he's going to get blown by easily for a layup. He's a pretty good shot blocker off the weak side and off drives because of his timing there. So like I think he'd be fine defensively, and again, it's just going to come down to how creative Carlisle is going to be with him, but also with this center by committee, Carlisle has the ability to even have it be matchup based. There might be a matchup that allows for Jay Huff to be the guy playing 25, 30 minutes a night. It could be James Wiseman playing, you know, and we all know Carlisle and then Kevin Pritchard and the rest of the front office has made a lot of value off of, you know, getting guys on low cost with guys like Neesmith, Toppin, McConnell, Andrew Nimhard, like James Wiseman could be next. I know us Memphians are rooting for that as a former Memphis Tiger. And then maybe they bring back Thomas Bryant or Tony Bradley. It's one of those things that they have a lot of optionality. Heck, my favorite option is to just have Pascal Siakam and have Jerice Walker be like a small ball 5. Like this is a gap year for Indiana. Take this opportunity to be weird and find something that works. And I think Jay Huff's skill set as essentially this 7'1" floor spacer is like the perfect pathway to kind of just get weird.
It really is. Joined by Parker Flemming, who has a Substack called Sack Elitist, where he covers the Memphis Grizzlies. By the way, all profits of a Substack go to support St. Jude, so go over there and check it out. Talking a little bit of Jay Huff being traded to the Pacers. I agree. It's a great year to get weird. I love Jerice Walker more than I probably should. Very intrigued to see what he kind of looks like. Intrigued to see what Mathurin looks like in this increased role as well. But another guy that I don't think Pacer fans are talking about enough is Johnny Furphy, who's going to be featured in the Summer League this year. Do you have any, like what is the thing with the NBA Summer League this year? Maybe it's a player, maybe it's just a team in general that you're most excited to see when you get to Vegas?
Yeah, I mean, most excited to see. I mean, I'm just excited to be there, you know. That's like a cop-out answer, but I love the Summer League, and I love basketball, and this is like a basketball sicko kind of place. And, you know, I'm just very excited to see what's up, you know. That's really it. And like specifically for Furphy, he's a guy I like coming into the draft. He had you know how it is, like when you watch like college basketball and then there's that freshman that just pops out of nowhere to become a one and done guy. Like that's Johnny Furphy to a T from last year. And I thought, you know, when he came out into the draft, I'm like, okay, he's a year away from actually being able to play in the NBA because he has a lot of work to do on his body. But again, got to get weird. And I think Johnny Furphy is a guy that can space the floor. He's a good cutter defensively. You know, it's kind of a wait and see because of his frame. But like, he's a guy that maybe Carlisle finds something with over this next season in Summer League too. I'm hoping that he shows some stuff too. But man, all in all, man, I'm just excited for Summer League and just really eager to see what it's like. I've been watching it on TV for years. Another guy too on the Pacers Summer League team I'm excited to see. Hopefully, I think he had some injury stuff he was going through is Cam Jones. He actually went to high school in Memphis. I've been following this game for a while. Very cool player that I think landed in the perfect situation because I want to say he is one of the only guards, of like since 2008 to have a assist percentage greater than 35 and a turnover percentage lower than 12. Like he is a masterful passer that takes care of the ball super well. The shooting numbers didn't weren't that great this year, but he was also in a higher scale role because of Tyler Kolek going to the NBA. But he's historically been a very good catch and shoot 3-point guy. So like, I think he could be a really good find here for the Indiana Pacers. So eager to see what's in store with Summer League, especially with the Indiana Pacers.
I am too. The Pacers are going to be so much fun. Once again, joined by Parker Flemming of the Sackelitis Substack. He's getting ready to head out to Vegas for the Summer League. The Pacers are going to be so much fun. Like, they've got so many guys that can just step out on the perimeter and shoot it. Like, they have 2 non-shooters on their roster. Everyone else can really shoot it. I'm really excited for people to see Talon Peter, the guard from Liberty, who shot like 45% from 3 and was flying around dunking the ball. So I'm really excited about their Summer League roster. I do want to ask you a question about Memphis, though, and their Summer League roster. How weird is it that Gigi Jackson has been in the league for 2 years now, and he is still the youngest guy on this Summer League team?
It's pretty hilarious, to be honest. But again, it kind of shows like, hey, don't give up on Gigi Jackson. He had a lost season last year, coming off of an all-season foot injury that he wasn't back until like mid to late January, and so he got zapped of training camp, preseason, all that. But also too, like, gonna put it out there too, he had to come back from a broken foot essentially, while having to learn a new offense and have to learn to play in a role, because when he came in into the 23-24 season, there's a lost season with all these injuries. They were able to kind of put the ball in his hands and see what he can do. And now it's like, hey, you're having to play a role alongside John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, guys that he hadn't played with really. And also too, while catching up, all right, he has to learn a new system, and hey, your role is going to be more like 3-and-D and play finishing and stuff. And it just wasn't a great season for him. He had to go to the G League, but this Summer League is a good opportunity for him to kind of hit the ground running with a new coaching staff and a more detailed role for him. And, he has that taste in his mouth that his sophomore season did not go as planned. And, third year is a big year, especially when you're a Summer League guy. You want to prove that you're better than the rest of the guys on the floor. And so far he's done that. He's been a very decisive driver and decision maker. He's been, it's literally one of those things where he's saying, all right, no wasted motion. I'm going to grab the ball. I'm going to make a move, get it to the basket. I'm just going to dunk on someone's head. I'm 6'9", 235 pounds. Like, he's just being very aggressive, and it's been a very encouraging sign to see. And also too, like you said, getting your question, he's only 20 years old. He is the youngest player in the Grizzlies Summer League roster, but still has the most NBA experience technically. So I'm cautiously optimistic about Gigi Jackson.
Joined by Parker Flemming of the Sackelitis Substack, talking a little bit of Summer League. Last thing, and I will let you go. Besides Cooper Flag, because I think that's the easy answer, which going to be rookie prospect are you most excited to watch?
Most excited to watch. Dang, this is tough on the spot question. First, I think of that, I'm going to just put up a guy from last year's draft class. I'm so stoked to see Reed Shepherd. I'm excited to see him play, and everyone kind of remember, like, oh, hey, this guy's really good. I'm trying to think of, you know what? I'm going to go and say Noah Essingway from the Chicago Bulls. I had him 4 on my big board, and excited to see him play against somewhat NBA competition. And scouting process, I kind of learned that apparently the Ratio Farm Ulm team is not playing that great in the league. And I think he has a lot of interesting tools and skills as a 18-year-old forward. So I got excited to see him up close and play, because, he doesn't come from the college background where, like, we're all kind of like super familiar with these college guys. So I'm going to go with him.
Joined by Parker Flemming of the Sakalita Substack, talking about the Summer League. So, Indiana, as you know, Parker, loves basketball, but I don't think we're watching the Bundesliga all the time. What is what is your favorite thing about Essengay? I know you said he has some intriguing skills as like a bigger forward, but what's your favorite thing about him?
It's his transition scoring. I think even right now he's a guy that could kind of grab and go off the glass with real fluidity. He can initiate and ignite transition offense. He gets to the foul line quite a bit. And I just think he's a guy that can really play within a flow of an offense as a cutter. He needs to space the floor a little bit. It's not there right now. Defensively, he's not going to be, like, even though he's 6'10", he's not necessarily like a interior defender, but he's a guy that can hang on the perimeter, So I'm just interested to see how the Chicago Bulls use him because, like, they don't have a blue chip prospect. So, like, you're not watching them and you see, for a team that's like kind of in the middle / towards the lottery, they just don't have that guy. Like, even with like a team like Toronto that seems stuck in the middle, they still have Scotty Barnes, all-star player that became an all-star before the end of his rookie contract, or even the Washington Wizards, you can point to like Alex Sarr, Bilal Coulibaly, Trey Johnson. Like, the Bulls are really counting on guys like Essengay and Montes Buzelis to be those guys. So, like, I'm just excited to see how they use them because these 6'9", 6'10" forwards that can dribble the ball a little bit, defend the perimeter. Like, if those guys hit, those are real assets in today's NBA.
They really are. Last comment, and then I will let you go. I think that's the second time I've said that, so I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
So the Nets on draft night took 4 guys who could play point guard. And they got ripped for it a little bit, but I am very intrigued to see them put that lineup out there on the floor in Summer League because they're going to have lineups where they can run like 5 guys who can kind of grab the ball and go, which I think is going to be interesting to watch. So for me, they're the team I'm most interested in seeing. Who is that team for you?
Most interesting team that should be told, I have not looked on Summer League rosters all that much.
That's fair.
But I'm gonna give like a deep cut one because I'm also watching them play tomorrow. But I'm excited to watch the Boston Celtics because they have a lot of these guys that I had a bit higher than in the consensus. Max Shulga, Amari Williams. If you look back at the past draft classes, Jordan Walsh,
go Hogs.
Baylor Sireman, and then I think Hugo Gonzalez is playing as well. And they had this guy that I actually thought should have been drafted this year, but he's on a Summer League Exhibit 10 contract. But Aaron Scott, he played at North Texas and St. John's. I'm excited to watch him. So, like, yeah, I'm going to go with them just because they have a lot of guys that, like, hey, I like this guy, and maybe they can find something in this gap here where they can become pieces. Any of those guys can become pieces next to a Boston Celtics team that has Jason Tatum back in the fold. So I'm going to go with them. It's a little deep cut. They don't have any of them. They don't have Cooper Flag or Dylan Harper or Ace Bailey or Reed Shepherd or anything, but I'm going to go with them.
That's a good pick. Like, Showerman, he played a little bit with Boston last year. I thought he was good. Jordan Walsh has really struggled in the minutes he's gotten with the Celtics, but like, you look at him and it's like, this dude's 6'7". He can kind of shoot it. Like, you would think that he would fit in at some point, but he just hasn't quite figured it out yet. But that's a really good pick. Parker, thanks for your time, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That is Parker Flemming. You can check him out on X at Paka, PAKA _Flocka, FLOCKA, which is, I love that name so much. Once again, he writes a Substack called Sakalita. He covers the Grizzlies. It's free, but if you do subscribe to it, all profits support St. Jude. So make sure you, at a minimum, go and check out his stuff. Also, there's a lot of stuff on the NBA draft as well. Summer League starts up tonight. We got games. I can't wait. I've got a few thoughts on it. We're going to go over the schedule for tonight, including the number 1 overall pick making his Summer League debut when we come back here in about 4 minutes.
Rockets at noon. The Real Jonathan Smith Show. Now, this is Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Welcome back to the Real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy Sports Ticket. Thank you for tuning in, no matter how you're tuning in, whether that's YouTube, Indy Sports Ticket, if you want to head over there and subscribe. Maybe you're watching on X__ Jonathan Smith. If you want to follow me and watch the show there, you can also listen on that Indy Sports Ticket app, which you can download wherever you find your apps. And yeah, it's all good. Now, tonight, the NBA Summer League begins, and I can't wait. Love the Summer League. Love everything going on about it. It's just, like Parker Flemming said, it's just for real basketball sickos, and it starts tonight, and I'm so excited for it. We got Pelicans and Timberwolves at 3:30. So here's what's going to happen. My wife doesn't like it when I drive because I don't have road rage. I have road frustration, and that stresses her out, makes the trip not as much fun. So she likes to drive, and I don't like to argue about that. So she'll probably drive a little bit of the trip, and I'm going to sit in that passenger seat, and I'm going to watch NBA Summer League games the whole way down. By the way, not doing a show tomorrow. My wife and I leave for a cruise, and can't wait. Anyway, so it's going to be good. Can't wait to watch all these games. Pelicans and Timberwolves. We're going to see a little Derek Queen, a little Jeremiah Fears at 3:30. What else are you going to do today? What else are you going to watch? The WNBA? Caitlin Clark doesn't play today. And even if she did, you don't want to watch her play either because she's not playing very well right now. Okay, and then at 5:30, you got the Thunder and the Nets. The Thunder, Nikola Topic back in the fold, playing ball again. The Nets with their 37 million guards getting out there playing. It's going to be fun to watch. The Magic and the Kings tonight. And then 8 o'clock, Lakers, Mavericks. I know, the moment we've all been waiting for. Bronny James, year 2 of the Summer League. Not really. Obviously, we're very excited to watch the one and only Cooper Flag in the 9:30 tonight. Nuggets, Bucks, followed by the nightcap. Dylan Harper, Spurs, 76ers. Going to be just a day loaded with basketball, which is always my favorite kind of day. And I am so excited to watch this Indiana Pacers team play at 5. I don't know how good they're going to be. They're underdogs because you can bet on everything now. But I know one thing. They can absolutely shoot the basketball. Every single one of them. Every guy on their roster can shoot the ball in some way, shape, or form. They're going to throw up a million shots or a million threes, and hopefully they're going to go in. And if they do, then they're probably going to win. Okay? And of all the players on this Indiana Pacers roster that I am most excited to see, it is Johnny Furphy. When the Tyrese Halliburton injury happened and they've moved Miles Turner, there's a lot of excitement around the extra Benedict Mathurin minutes and how he's going to have the ball a little bit more. There's, for me, excitement about Jarris Walker. Ridger, by the way, chimed in earlier saying that Jarris Walker will never be an NBA starter. Never's a long time. It is, and he's been buried behind the depth of the front court of the Indiana Pacers. When he's played pretty well. He's a 40% three-point shooter so far in his first 2 years. Like, that's a major plus. And he's a guy who projects, which projection doesn't always come true, but he's a guy who projects as a really good defender. I like it when he has the ball as well. I think he's a good passer. So Jarris Walker has a really nice skill set that I'm very excited to hopefully see full-time this next season. Hopefully he's playing like 20 to 30 minutes a night, because if he does that, then I think that we're going to see some things that we like from him. He's rebounded well in the minutes that he's played on top of that. But while people are excited about Mathurin and Jarris Walker and, you know, this new Huff guy, Johnny Furphy is going to get more minutes as well. And I am so intrigued to see what his minutes in the G League look like tonight. He didn't play a ton for the Indiana Pacers last year, spent a pretty fair amount of time in the G League. In the 10 games he played in the G League, just to be fair, that's not the NBA, he averaged 14 points a game on 45% shooting and 9.5 rebounds. He didn't shoot the ball great, only 32% from 3, but that's something that I'm just kind of expecting to get better over time. Like when he was drafted in the second round 2 drafts ago, he was supposed to be a shooter. Like that's why the Pacers went and got him. So hopefully, as he gets older, as he kind of fills out a little bit, he still looks like a 16-year-old, even though he's not, obviously. Hopefully, as he gets older, he gets stronger and he fills out a little bit. He'll start to shoot the ball a little bit better. He's like a legit 6'7", long arms. That's part of why he rebounded so well in the G League. So, if he can rebound a little bit, if he can guard, which part of that is just he needs to put on some size, and if he can figure out the shooting, then this is a guy who could be a really good role player for the Pacers at some point down the line. Very, very excited to see what he looks like tonight. Cam Jones, I don't think is playing on the Pacers Summer League team. Let me look that up. Summer League team. And so he is not part of the Summer League roster due to a technicality of the NBA offseason schedule. So bummer. We won't get to see him play, but that's fine because we're going to get to see Talon Peter instead, the second round pick who, when he got drafted, everyone said who. Question, would you rather be booed when you got drafted, or would you rather people say who? I don't know. I think I'd rather be booed. Maybe. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. But Talon Peter, if he can just guard, cut well, and make threes, which are three things he should be able to do, then I think people are going to like him, and everyone's going to be happy. Okay? Win or lose, because obviously you want to win Summer League games. Every time you lace them up, the goal is to go out there and win, but that doesn't always happen. Just it doesn't. So hopefully tonight they win, but more importantly, hopefully we just like what we see. Hopefully the ball moves. Hopefully these guys are cutting and setting good screens, and they're really competing on the defensive side of the ball. Okay, so that game's at 5. Probably gonna end around 7, and then at 8 o'clock. I'm turning on Cooper Flagg. Makes his debut tonight against Bronny James and the Lakers. And the thing that I'm most excited about, Cooper Flagg's going to play point guard. And I'm very intrigued to kind of see what that looks like. He didn't do that a ton at Duke because Con Knippel's a really good player. And when you watched him at Duke, there was nothing that he didn't do well. And I'm just intrigued to see how much of it translates against slightly better competition against some older players as well, even though everyone in college basketball is older now. So he's going to have the ball a little bit more. He's going to make more decisions. What does he look like handling the ball, coming out of screen and roll? How's the passing look? Because he's going to guard. He's going to block some shots. He's going to create some havoc on defense. The offense, though. Because that's kind of been the question around Cooper Flagg. How advanced is the offensive creation? Can he get his own shot when he needs to? Can he get shots for other guys when he needs to? To me, it's a fascinating thing. Very intrigued to kind of see what he looks like tonight. And very intrigued by Bronny James as well. Had a full year in the G League. Played a little bit for the Lakers. My real hope for Bronny James, I just hope everyone leaves him alone. I feel so bad for that kid. He didn't ask for the Lakers to draft him. He didn't ask for all the publicity that comes with being LeBron's kid. And I just hope everyone leaves him alone and they give him time to develop. All right, we're going to see him now after, when he's not coming off of having a heart attack. So hopefully he looks a little bit better. Hopefully he can defend a little bit. Hopefully he can make some threes. Hopefully he can do enough to just look like a serviceable basketball player. Because as of right now, or as of last year when we saw him, he didn't really look like a serviceable basketball player. So hopefully here at some point, Bronny James has a nice little run. I am rooting for him because he's just in this impossible situation. It's the same thing with Arch Manning at Texas. There's a large part of me that's kind of resentful of Arch Manning because people have just crowned him. Paul Feinbaum a couple weeks ago was like, Arch Manning is the best college quarterback we've seen since Tim Tebow, which is absurd, by the way. A dude we've seen play UTSA. Come on now. And that's it. So Bronny James, he's got some of that stuff going for him as well. Having to deal with the whole famous parent thing is something that I'm glad that I never had to deal with. But when we come back, 11 o'clock, since I'm out tomorrow, I have a fun list Friday, kind of. It's just a list of 5 summer league takes, 5 things that I think are going to happen or not going to happen, and kind of the implications of them. I'm very excited. If you've listened to the show for a while now, you know how much I love the NBA, how much I love basketball really in general. And this is kind of the last basketball thing before the NFL takes over, and it's all we're talking about all the time with Colts camp starting up here in a week and a half. So can't wait for that. When we come back at 11, we'll get into 5 summer league takes. Summer league starts tonight.
Let's do this. It's the Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket, 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
What's going on? Welcome back to the Real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy Sports Ticket. Thank you for tuning in, no matter how you're tuning in, whether that's YouTube, Indy Sports Ticket, for head over there and subscribe. Maybe you're watching on X, __ Jonathan Smith. Maybe you're listening on that Indy Sports Ticket app, which you can download wherever you find your apps, or 1430 AM radio. And if you're just listening and you're not watching, you're missing out on this beautiful, beautiful jersey that I'm wearing. Little Sidney Moncrief action. I get it. He played for the Bucks. Probably not the best call on my part, but he's an Arkansas legend. So there is that. Now, Summer League starts tonight. I've got a few takes about the Summer League. Let's start with the Indiana Pacers. I think that the Indiana Pacers are going to be the most enjoyable team, or just like the most fun team to watch at the Summer League this year. And I say that with a ton of confidence because everyone loves the long ball. Everyone loves that beautiful, beautiful three-point shot. And man, can the Indiana Pacers shoot the basketball. I believe that they will lead the Summer League in made threes. And if they play enough games, so, because they're, you play your 4 games or whatever, and then you have a tournament. If they play enough games, they might set a record for threes made in the Summer League. That's how well they can shoot it. Okay? They're going to get them up, and hopefully they go in. Like I said, so many guys who can shoot it. Buddy Boeheim led the G League in threes made last year. He's on this Indiana Pacers Summer League roster. Johnny Furphy, supposed to be a shooter, got a ton of them up when he played at Kansas. Was taking like 5 a game when he was playing for the Pacers G League team. He can shoot it. They got Tamanaga. You remember Tamanaga from Nebraska. That guy can really shoot it. He shot 47% from 3. And to be fair, limited minutes with the Fort Wayne Mad Ants last year, now the Noblesville Boom this year. Talon Peter lit it up from 3 at Liberty, shot north of 45% from downtown. Do you remember Stephen Ashworth? Short, kind of tough guard from Creighton. Yeah, he shot 37% from 3 last year. Yeah, and guess what? He's on the roster. There were so many shooters. So many shooters on this Indiana Pacers Summer League roster. They're going to spread you out. They're going to get them up. There's really only 2 guys on this Summer League roster who can't really shoot it. Enrique Freeman, who I like. We'll see if he can become an NBA player or not, but I do like his game. And Samson Johnson. Everyone else is at a minimum a capable three-point shooter. The threes are going to be flying from the Pacers, and if they're going in, then they are going to be so much fun to watch. Second take. Ace Bailey is going to garner the biggest overreaction of all of the top prospects at Summer League, or really of all the prospects, period. He's going to have a game. Maybe it happens early. It didn't happen in the Salt Lake Summer League, but he's going to have a game where he just scores a ton of points. Like, he's going to go out. He's going to have like 30 on, like 11 of 18 shooting, and everyone's going to go nuts. Do you guys see Ace Bailey? How did he fall in the draft? The Utah Jazz were so smart to draft Ace Bailey, even though he didn't want to go there. Overreactions all over the place. And it's going to mean nothing. Absolutely nothing. He's going to hit all these tough shots, and people are going to be like, that's an NBA player. That's what everyone's going to say. And then I'm going to, just be on the cruise, drinking whatever, probably like a lemonade or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. A lot of points against a bunch of guys that probably aren't even going to play in the NBA this next season. Okay? But Ace Bailey, he makes a lot of tough shots. And people are going to fall in love with that because just looking at it, it is going to be very appealing to look at. So can't wait to see the overreactions to Ace Bailey scoring like 35 in some random Summer League game, a bunch of guys that aren't going to play in the league next year. So, next take. Cedric Coward, if you watch the Grizzlies Summer League team, dude's going to jump off the screen. Like that dude is going to just be everywhere and Oh, it's going to be awesome. Okay? Like, you're going to be like, wow, that dude's really big. Wow. That dude's, got, a pretty large wingspan. And then he's going to start making threes. You'll be like, wow, that guy can really shoot it. And then he's going to post up a smaller play. And you're going to be like, are those post moves? What? Haven't seen post moves in any sort of NBA format in like a decade. Who is this guy? It's like, oh, that's Cedric Coward. That's the guy that Jonathan really likes. I'm telling you, he's going to jump off the screen because of the effort that he plays with. He's going to be so impactful on defense. He's going to be blocking shots after coming over from the weak side. He's going to be defending on the ball. He's going to be so much fun to watch this year in the Summer League. And I, quite frankly, cannot wait to see what he looks like. Speaking of the Grizzlies might have the best G League roster of anybody else. Like, if you just want to see like a bunch of good players, watch the Grizzlies. Armando Bacot, you remember him from North Carolina? He's on the roster. At a minimum, he's going to rebound and finish around the bucket. Ace Baldwin Jr., remember him from Penn State? Short, quick guard who can get to the rim and do a lot of cool things with the ball. Yeah, he's on the roster. Can shoot it too. He's on the roster. Tyler Burton from Villanova. He can play. Cedric Coward, as I already highlighted. Freaking love his game. Love his game. Who else? G.G. Jackson II, going into his third year in the NBA. Only 20 years old, though. Big wing who can put it on the floor and finish at the rim. Decent shooter as well. Okay, like that's a really good NBA player, or a guy who could be a really good NBA player at some point, playing on this Memphis Grizzlies Summer League roster. Ooh, wait, I'm going to butcher this guy's name, but I really love his game. Jemai Mashak, guard from Tennessee. Love his game. Gonna guard, probably going to make open shots. Like a really, really good player. And then you got some other guys like Cam Spencer. Played at UConn, won 2 national titles at UConn. Can really shoot it. Shot like 57% from 3 in the G League this last season. Like when he's open, you just kind of expect for it to go in. Okay, he's chippy. There's like a clip of him getting underneath Kevin Durant's skin, which isn't saying a ton because, Kevin Durant tweeted again this morning, which is awesome, really. But Cam Spencer, he's going to be out there. And then Jalen Wells, a guy who was drafted last year out of Washington State, who's just kind of shown up and been really tough and been really, really good for them. So that Grizzlies roster is going to just be a blast to watch in general. But Cedric Coward, that's the guy that is going to jump off the screen whenever you watch him. The Nets are going to be fascinating. I can't wait to watch the Nets Summer League team. So on draft night, they had like 4 first-round picks, and they used all of them. They used all 4 of their picks, which is not normal. What I'm assuming is they went into draft night expecting to be able to, they went into draft night with those first four first round picks, and they probably were thinking something along the lines of like, we're not going to use all 4. We're going to trade some of them, and it'll be good. And then no one wanted to trade with them, and so they ended up using all 4 first round picks on 4 guys who can play guard. And that's an interesting thing. With that being said, they're good. Like all 4 of those players, you look at them and you're like, yeah, those guys can all play. And it's going to create some really interesting lineups. Like if they play all 4 of those guys together, and they can because they're all 4 different sizes. Like 2 of the guards are 6'5". Igor Demin is 6'8". Danny Wolf is 6'11". So they can play all 4 of those guys together, throw another guy out there on the floor who can, handle the basketball. And they're going to have lineups with 5 guys who can dribble, pass, and shoot. Grant Nelson from Alabama, he's on the roster. Like, throw him out there. Make him the 5th guy. 11, can dribble, pass, and shoot. Like, he would be a lot of fun to watch on, with those other 4 rookies. Drew Timme is on this roster. He's got a little bit of game now as well. I don't know if you remember TJ Bamba from Oregon. Love his game. Just tough, gritty defensively, big guard as well at 6'5". Like they've got a lot of interesting pieces, and some of the lineups that they're going to be able to throw out there, I think, are going to be really interesting and just a lot of fun to watch in general. Deron Holmes, he's back after tearing his Achilles. I don't know if you remember this guy or not. He played at Dayton 2 years ago. Was a first-round pick by the Denver Nuggets, right? He was supposed to play a lot of those backup center minutes and ended up not happening because he tore his Achilles in the middle of the summer league last year. So he's back, and he was good last year in the summer league before he got hurt. Okay, he was a really good big guy playing at Dayton. Okay, he can pick and pop, big, strong kid who can finish it at the rim as well. Shot 38% from three in his final year at Dayton. Okay, finishes around the rim well. He's 6'10". Okay, block shots, does all that good stuff. So I am excited to see what he looks like coming off of that Achilles injury. Those are the 5 things that I'm looking forward to seeing at Summer League, excluding all of the big things, right? Because obviously, like, I am a Mavericks fan in my heart of hearts. Very excited to see what Cooper Flagg looks like playing for the Mavericks on this Summer League team. Obviously, very excited to see what Dylan Harper Jr. looks like playing for the Spurs late tonight at 10. Guess who else is in that game? VJ Edgecombe. Yeah, it's the number 2 and number 3 overall picks going head-to-head right off the rip. Going to be a ton of fun to watch that game super late tonight. Who else is playing tonight? The Thunder, I think, are going to be a lot of fun. No one is even thinking about Nikola Topic, the number 12 overall pick from 2 drafts ago. Didn't play at all for the Thunder this last year because he tore his ACL, if I remember correctly. So he barely got to play. The Pelicans tonight, Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen, they're going to be fun to watch. Let's see who else. The Jazz play the Hornets tomorrow night. That's, obviously the 4th and 5th pick going at it head to head. I've been very vocal about how much I like Con Knippel's game. Ace Bailey obviously playing in that game as well. So just a lot of really intriguing prospects. Pastor Van Pastor Man chiming in the YouTube chat. Once again, Indie Sports Ticket, if you want to head over there and subscribe. He asked, will Flagg really play, though? Sometimes they get out there for a few reps, and then they pull them. That is a really good point. Here's the thing with the Mavericks, though, that I think might be a little bit different. They don't really have a point guard. And Jason Kidd has been on record saying that he wants to see whether or not Cooper Flagg can play point guard for the Mavericks or not. And so, they're going to play him at point guard. This isn't just about, him getting reps. I think they want to see whether or not he can handle playing point guard in the Summer League, because if he can, then they might try him out playing point guard at the NBA level as well. So that's probably why he's going to play a lot. Ridger's saying that he could see Flagg struggling in the NBA. I would like to know why, because that dude does everything well. Everything well. And that's not a me thing. When Dan Dockich, who's forgotten more about basketball than I'll probably ever know, says something along the lines of, this is the best freshman I've ever seen play college basketball, that means a lot to me. He does everything well. He's going to be an impactful guy. I don't think he'll win Rookie of the Year simply because he's on a really good team, and Anthony Davis is going to get to take a lot of shots, and PJ Washington is going to get to take a lot of shots, and Klay Thompson is going to get to take a lot of shots, and that's obviously going to pull away from what Cooper Flagg is not allowed to do, but what they ask him to do. So I am just very intrigued to kind of see how they use him, especially in this Summer League, because I do think it's going to give us a pretty slight glimpse into the future of what they want him to do at the actual NBA level. So excited to see how the Mavericks use him going forward, and I'm just excited because I love hoops, and this should be a lot of fun, as the Summer League is every single season. When we come back, the Indiana Fever were supposed to be a lot of fun this year, but they have a losing record, and Caitlin Clark, the savior of women's basketball, isn't playing very well. My thoughts on their loss to the Valkyrie yesterday when we come back here in about 4 minutes.
It may, one day, be a must-listen for sports enthusiasts.
Yeah, and monkeys might fly out of my butt.
Uh-oh. The Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Welcome back to the Real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy Sports Ticket. Thank you for tuning in, no matter how you're tuning in, whether that's YouTube, Indy Sports Ticket. If you want to head over there and subscribe, maybe you're watching on X__Jonathan Smith to follow and watch the show there. You can also listen on that Indy Sports Ticket app, which you can download wherever you find your apps, or 1430 AM in your car. AM radio is great. Fever, not great though. 9-10 on the year. Lost by 19 to the Valkyrie yesterday. A game in which they were 6.5-point favorites. They lost by 19. 19! Jeez, just absolutely blown out. They had a quarter where they only scored like 9 points. Ugh. A 9-point quarter. Oh, and by the way, they also had a 10-point quarter. It's just bad. It's just bad, ugly basketball. That's what it is. Okay? You know what's not bad and ugly? Red velvet cake. I love red velvet cake. Had some last night, and I promise this all comes back. So, I'm a terrible baker, which means that when I want red velvet cake with cream cheese icing, to be a little more specific, I can't make it from scratch. I just don't have it in me. I'm not built differently in the kitchen, and that's okay. So when I want delicious red velvet cake like I did last night, I do one of two things. I go to Nothing Bundt Cakes and I buy one, or I make one with the little Betty Crocker box. Okay, because it's easy. I like easy. You probably like easy too, especially when it comes to making food, because like I said, bad cook, just not very good at it. And the little Betty Crocker box just makes it easy. You know, like there's the cake mix already made. I just need eggs, a little vegetable oil, and some water. That's it. Okay? But obviously the most important thing is the cake mix. Like no cake mix, no cake. Eggs, pretty easy to find. Vegetable oil, pretty easy to find. You can also substitute other things. Water, you can find anywhere. You can also substitute that out for other liquids if you want. But the cake mix is the most important thing, and I can't make that. That's why I buy the box. And when you look at this Indiana Fever team, Caitlin Clark is the cake mix. Unless she's present doing all the things that she's good at and her teammates aren't, there's no cake to be made. And she simply hasn't done her part here as of late. Like, you can find scores across the WNBA. Love Kelsey Mitchell. Love her game. But you can find other guards who can make open threes and get their own shots. I like Aaliyah Boston's game, but you can find other power forwards across the WNBA who can rebound and make layups. It's not a super difficult thing to find. The most important part of making a cake is for me, the box and the cake mix already made. And for the Fever, the most important part of their team is Caitlin Clark and her ability to space the floor and, more importantly, create shots for other players. And she hasn't been doing that. She continues to be incredibly underwhelming, which is a very nice way of me saying that she's stunk it up here as of late. Now, to be fair to her yesterday, she wasn't the only one. The Fever, top to bottom, were very bad last night, or yesterday afternoon. Bad. So it's the only way to put it. Okay, Kelsey Mitchell was the Fever's leading scorer, but she was 3 of 13 from the field. Aaliyah Boston was 2 of 8 from the field, only scored 6 points, and was minus 25 in 27 minutes. It's not very good. It's not. Natasha Howard was 1 of 4 from the field. Ari McDonald was 2 of 9 from the field, only 1 of 7 from 3. Ari, I know that you've come over and you've been like a pretty good player for the most part since the Fever acquired you. But at some point, you need to realize that the 3-point shot's not falling. Maybe don't take 7 of them. Sophie Cunningham off the bench played 21 minutes and she scored 3 points. It's not good. When you have more turnovers than you do field goals made, that's usually not a very good game. Lexi Hull, 2 of 7 from the field. Just a bad outing from everyone, including Caitlin Clark, who was 4 of 12 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, but she did have 4 turnovers because it wouldn't be a Caitlin Clark appearance unless she turned the ball over a bunch. To her credit, though, she was 2 of 5 from 3, and I thought that her shot selection was better, right? You didn't see her pulling up from 30 feet time and time again, missing. I thought that her 3-point shot selection was a little bit better. Nice seeing her try to get to the rim a little bit more. And the thing with the Fever is when Caitlin Clark plays well, like, they win. It's really that simple. Because when she plays well, she's not only scoring, but she's making life easier on all of her other teammates. You know, she's finding cutters, she's spraying it out to open shooters. And look, man, like, when you're open, your chances of making the shot go up pretty significantly. It's just, what an observation on my part there. But you get it. When she's getting into the lane and she's scoring and she's spraying it out and she's moving the ball, the Fever are significantly better. When you're the best player, everything starts with you. And if LeBron James or Kevin Durant or Tyrese Halliburton or any other NBA star was having as bad of a stretch as Caitlin Clark is having right now, it would lead everywhere. It would. Tyrese Halliburton has one bad game in the playoffs, and it leads this show. It did multiple times. Game 3 against the Cavaliers, when he just stood in the corner and didn't do anything. Yeah, it led the show the following day. Game 4 against the Knicks on the road, where, at home. Was it game 4 where he struggled? I think so. No. Game 3 against the Knicks is where he struggled, and then they won game 4 at home. My bad there. Game 3 against the Knicks, he wasn't very good. It led the show the next day. Whatever game it was in the NBA Finals where he struggled. I think it was game 5. People are like, he's hurt. Didn't matter. It led the show. When stars are bad, it needs to be talked about. And when Angel Reese is bad, it's talked about everywhere. You get on the internet, and you can find whatever clip you want of any bad Angel Reese play. Like, they are all out there. But when Caitlin Clark plays bad, like she has been for the majority of the year, crickets, nothing, no clips or anything of her awful play, because that's really what it's been. It's been awful. If Angel Reese had played as bad as Caitlin Clark did yesterday and lost by 19, it would be everywhere. It is the only thing that I would see when I got on any sort of social media site. But because it's Caitlin Clark and people love her and she's super popular, crickets, nothing. And it's really frustrating. Like, I didn't see anyone calling out how bad Caitlin Clark was yesterday. She was 4th in MVP voting last year. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 turnovers, 4-12 shooting from the field. That's it. That's all you're getting from a player who was one of the 5 best players in the world, or in the WNBA last year. Seriously, that's it, and no one wants to talk about it. That doesn't make any sort of sense. But it's Caitlin Clark, so I guess it does. For some reason, we don't want to call her out and say that she's been bad. It's because she has been. How does a team with 3 All-Stars, Kelsey Mitchell, Leah Boston, and Caitlin Clark, how does a team with 3 All-Stars have a 9-10 record? How's a team with the great Caitlin Clark have a 9-10 record? It starts with the star. When you're the best player on your team, it starts with you. And that's where it starts. Caitlin Clark hasn't been good. That is why they are 9-10. Kelsey Mitchell's had a pretty solid year this year. She has. She's leading the Fever in scoring at 19 points per game, and she's shooting 45% from the floor on the season. Aaliyah Boston having a pretty good year this year, averaging 16 points and 8 rebounds a night. That's a good year. Also, she's shooting 58% from the floor. Natasha Howard, who's been starting at center, having a pretty solid year, averaging 11 points a night, 6 rebounds, also shooting 54% from the field. And then you get to Caitlin Clark, who's not having a very good year. Points are down from last year. Assists are slightly up, but the turnovers are up as well. She's not playing well enough. And I really wish other people would call it out. As of right now, Caitlin Clark is severely overhyped. As of right now, she's honestly like Angel Reese last year, where there were a bunch of people who loved Angel Reese, and they talked about Angel Reese all the time. And it's like, Angel Reese, Angel Reese, Angel Reese. But her play didn't match the amount of coverage and the amount of love that she was getting. That is where Caitlin Clark is at right now. The amount of appreciation and love that she gets, she shouldn't get it because she's not playing that well. And yesterday, I saw people freaking out about how Caitlin Clark hasn't, or she's not on the cover of the NBA 2K26 WNBA edition. And you can guess who is. It's Angel Reese. And she should be. When, 2K and all these other video game places, when they pick their cover athletes, like, they don't care about the best player. If it was about the best player, then Asia Wilson would be on the cover every year because she's the best player in the WNBA right now. If 2K cared about the best player, then, our guy, Nikola Jokic, he would be on the cover of NBA 2K every year. But he's not this year. It's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a significantly bigger brand than Nikola Jokic. That's really what they care about. They care about brand, right? That's why Carmelo Anthony is on the cover of their Legend Edition. Why they have so many different editions, I have no idea. I'm assuming it's because they all sell really well. So look, Melo liked his game. He wasn't as good as, Michael Jordan, who you could put on the cover of your Legacy Edition. Wasn't as good as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who you could put on the cover of your Legacy Edition, or Magic Johnson, or just keep working your way down the very, very long list of legends better than Carmelo Anthony. They don't care about how good you were. It's about the brand. And Angel Reese is as big of a brand, maybe bigger, with the podcast and the Reese's Puff stuff, as Caitlin Clark is. Also, Angel Reese is playing at a really high level right now. She's playing better than Caitlin Clark. She's playing at a level that is deserving of being on the cover of a video game. Caitlin Clark, very simply, is not. She doesn't deserve to be on the cover of anything. She's got to figure her stuff out. And look, I get it. She's been hurt in and out of the lineup. Maybe she's just rusty. Maybe she's playing hurt. I don't know. And to be frank, I don't really care. If you're on the floor, play well. That is your job. And if you aren't healthy enough to play well, and you're going to hurt your team when you play, like Caitlin Clark has done during the stretch, then don't play. Keep rehabbing, get healthy, and then come back whenever you're actually ready to play basketball and you're actually ready to be impactful. Okay? So all the Caitlin Clark lovey-dovey stuff. Oh, look at this. She made a pull-up 3 from 30 feet. Isn't she amazing? I don't know. She had 10 points and 6 assists, and she turned the ball over 4 times, and she was only shot 4-12 from the floor. Like, is that really amazing? It is. No, it's not. It's quite frankly not. So, all the Caitlin Clark stuff, I'm just tired of it. I'm ready for it to be done. Okay, I just want for her to play well, and I want for the appreciation of her to match how well she's playing. And I want for when she plays bad, for other people to be like, you know what? Caitlin Clark, not playing very good right now. That's all that I really want. Probably not going to get it, though, because the Caitlin Clark propaganda machine simply does not stop. And we don't stop here either on The Real Jonathan Smith Show. When we come back here in about 4 minutes, and NBA Summer League starts up tonight. The Pacers roster got a lot of really interesting, fun players on it. They play tonight, 5 o'clock. They're playing against the Cavaliers, where they are 1.5-point underdogs. I may bet it, because why not? Like, what else am I going to do tonight? What else are you going to do tonight? Should be a lot of fun. Summer League starts tonight, or this afternoon. 3:30 is the first game. Pelicans, and who are they playing? The Pelicans and the Timberwolves. Should be a lot of fun. Pelicans, obviously, bringing in both Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen. So we'll talk about the Summer League and its start tonight when we come back here in about 4 minutes.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
The best takes. Maybe. The Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Welcome back to the Real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy's Sports Ticket. Thank you for tuning in, no matter how you're tuning in, whether that's YouTube, Indy Sports Ticket. If you head over there and subscribe, maybe you're watching on X, _ Jonathan Smith to follow me there and watch the show there. You can also listen on that Indy Sports Ticket app. And I'm jealous a little bit. I like banana bread. One of the listeners in the chat just said that their daughter dropped off banana bread. And I'm just like, man, banana bread sounds good right now. Love banana bread. Anyway, NBA Summer League starts up to this afternoon, 3:30, first game. We got the Pelicans taking on the Timberwolves. Should be just a lot of fun. The Timberwolves are 7.5-point favorites, which is a lot. Jeez, like every other line is 3.5 or less. 7.5. Vegas really doesn't like Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen, I guess. So that's the first game today. Can't wait to watch it. Can't wait to watch all the hoops. And you're probably going to watch hoops too, because what else are you going to do? What else are you going to do? Watch baseball, game 84, which is, in full swing. Cubs struggling a little bit, right? They win that series against the Cardinals at home. I believe they've dropped the first two here to Minnesota. Gonna have a chance to win one today to avoid the sweep, but they're on the road here. Yeah, lost 8-2, 4-2, or 8-1 and then 4-2 yesterday. Just avoid the sweep today and be fine. Oh, they play at 110. Let's go. We're gonna find a way to get that up on the TV. I love afternoon anything. Like I've watched the Wimbledon women's semifinal since the show since I came in this morning. Whatever the second game is, whether it's men's or women's, probably gonna watch that one as well. And then at 1:00, we're gonna hopefully be able to watch the Cubs and the Twins play. Twins, not a bad team this year. Just saying. But we'll see. Anyway, so And then at 3:30, I'm going to flip it over and start watching a little bit of hoops because there's just a lot of fun and intriguing games today. Pacers play at 5 o'clock against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I'm excited because I think this Pacers team is just going to be fun. You know, like they've got all these guys who can really, really shoot it. Like they've really only got 2 non-shooters on their roster. And Enrique Freeman, who I am a fan of. Hopefully he can kind of figure it out and find a way to be a rotation guy. And then Samson Johnson, the other guy on the roster who can't really shoot it. Everyone else, though, is at a minimum capable to shoot it from 3, but a lot of these guys can really shoot it. Buddy Boeheim led the G League in threes made last year with 70. Johnny Furphy, supposed to be a shooter, hasn't done a great job of that, but, you know, he can still shoot it. Tom Anaga, if you remember him at Nebraska, the Asian Steph Curry, he can really shoot it. Shot 47% from 3 in limited minutes for the Mad Ants this last year in the G League. Talon Peter lit it up at Liberty, you know, also very athletic and can finish around the rim. And then Stephen Ashworth at Creighton, another guy who can really shoot it, 37% from 3. I wish Cam Jones was playing. I really do, because he shot 40% from 3 his junior year at Marquette, and we'll kind of see what happens next. John Buzzard saying, when a fruit or veggie is stated in the name of a dessert, it is automatically healthy. Banana bread and carrot cake are prime examples. That's the truth. That is definitely the truth. Yeah, if you just live off banana bread and carrot cake, you will be very, very healthy. That's a promise. Yeah, that's how that goes. But I'm excited to watch this Pacers team shoot a lot of threes, move the ball really well, and I'm really just kind of intrigued to see what the extra Johnny Furphy minutes look like. Like, he's the guy tonight that I am most intrigued by. You know, haven't had a full year in the G League / playing some minutes here and there for the Pacers. Still obviously very young, tall. I don't know if he's athletic, but he's tall. He's long, and he's a shooter. And when he fills out a little bit, he seems like he should be able to guard on the perimeter some. Really good rebounder, averaged 9.5 rebounds per game in his G League games this year. Only shot like 32% from 3, which isn't great, but I do think that as he fills out a little bit and he gets a little bit stronger, he'll be able to shoot it a little bit better. Still averaged 14 points on 45% shooting, meaning he got to the rim, finished around the rim, right? Only made about 1 3 per game when he was playing in the G League. So a bunch of his buckets came from inside of that 3-point line. A lot of that for him is coming off of cuts and off of offensive rebounds. So I like his game. The shot obviously has to be a little bit better than it was last year, but I like his game. He's going to have the ball in his hands a little bit more, which is not a bad thing. That's a good thing. It's important for the guards on this Pacers team to be able to dribble, pass, and shoot. And that third part completely crossed off. Like they can shoot it this year on their G League team, and I'm just so excited to see what they look like out there on the floor against a Cleveland team that I'm really kind of not intrigued by, but like they don't have a ton. Like they didn't have a big time first round pick or anything like that. So I'm kind of surprised that they're favored. What does their summer league roster look like? I am kind of intrigued here. Oh, they got Tyrese Proctor. Yes, I remember they went they drafted him. Would have loved him here on the Pacers, but hey, that's fine. We'll take Cam Jones, good player, and we'll see how it goes from there. But aside from Tyrese Proctor, not a lot of guys on this team that I am familiar with. Jackson Robinson, like his game, played at Kentucky last year, can really shoot it, can put it on the deck a little bit, but going to be interested to see what they look like. Usually when teams have a bunch of guys that I'm unfamiliar with, usually means they have like older G League guys. And that is the one thing about the summer league that is disappointing, I guess. Like, there's teams that are going to run their offense through like a 24-year-old who scored a bunch of points in the G League and has been around for a little bit. And then the Mavs are like, here's 19-year-old Cooper Flagg. And usually the older teams that have G League guys that you and I have never heard of, those tend to be the teams that win a little bit more and go a little bit deeper in that summer league tournament. Like, it's not super common for the team with the number 1 overall pick or the number 2 overall pick or the number 3 overall pick to make like a deep summer league run. And part of that is because these top picks don't always play a ton. I don't think that that's going to be the case this year. I think Ace Bailey's going to play a lot for the Jazz. I think Con Knippel's going to get a lot of minutes for the Hornets. Cooper Flagg, I think, is definitely going to play a ton just because I think the Mavericks are trying to kind of figure out what they're going to do with him. Not because they don't know what to do, but because he's so talented and he's so good at so many different things. You know, Jason Kidd has talked about how they think that Cooper Flagg can like legitimately play point guard for them. And so he's going to play point guard at the Summer League. By the way, he plays tonight, 8:00 in a Mavericks jersey. Can't wait. Okay, so very excited to see what he looks like playing point guard. There was nothing that he didn't do well at Duke. So I'm just intrigued to see how much it translates against slightly better competition than what he faced when he was at Duke. Because let's be honest, the ACC this last year wasn't very good. It wasn't very good. And yeah, it'll just be fun to see. Like, I think defensively, he's still going to be very impactful. You know, he's going to block shots. He's going to play good help defense. He's going to find a way to generate steals, and he's going to get in a stance and defend guys one-on-one and all that good stuff. Question is the offense. Can he get his own shot? How does he do kind of being the handler on some of these pick and rolls as opposed to the screener, which he did a little bit more of at Duke, as opposed to, actually handling the ball coming off it? Because when you play with other good players like Con Knippel, you don't always have to have the ball in your hand. So that'll be a slight adjustment for him playing in the Summer League. Very excited to see kind of how he deals with it. A lot of eyes are going to be on Bronny James. I just hope he looks like a capable G League guy. That's really what I hope. Like, if he has another really rough Summer League like he did last summer, then good luck with that. Dalton Connect is probably playing for them as well, so should be fun to see what they look like on top of everything else. So can't wait to see like another game tonight that I'm really excited for. 10:00, the nightcap. Spurs 76ers, the number 2 overall pick, Dylan Harper Jr., taking on the number 3 overall pick, VJ Edgecombe. So there's another awesome matchup tonight. What else are you going to do? Stay up, watch hoops. The Summer League, it always delivers. It is always so much fun to watch these guys. And there's like a slight March Madness feel where, you'll see a guy that you have no idea who he is because he's been playing for some G League team that you've never heard of. And he pops up and you're like, wow, like I like this guy, So there's a slight feeling of that as well. And hopefully the Pacers can be that team for a lot of people because, like I said, they're going to be so much fun to watch. With the Summer League starting tonight, I have to give you the normal NBA Summer League warning. Don't trust anything that you see. It's really that simple because a lot of these guys aren't going to play in the NBA. So when Ace Bailey scores 35 points against some dude that has played 3 NBA games, don't all of a sudden be like, oh, Ace Bailey, watch out. That guy's going to be a stud for the next decade. Not necessarily true. There are plenty of guys who have really good summer leagues and then never really turn into anything. So it's a pretty common occurrence. So very excited, very kind of intrigued to see who jumps out and who pops. I think Cedric Coward is 1,000% going to be one of those guys. Love his game. Loved his game at Washington State. Excited to watch him play, too, because he only played 7 games at Washington State, but he can guard. He's big, long, big wingspan. Defensively, you're going to notice him immediately because he can guard pretty much everybody. He's athletic. He rebounds well. The offense, he's going to come down. He's probably going to make some threes. Shot 40% from 3 at Washington State this last year. And then he's going to, post up a smaller guard. And you're going to be like, a post-up in, an NBA-type setting? What in the world? Haven't seen this in a decade. He's just a really tough matchup for teams to deal with. So, excited to watch him. He plays for the Grizzlies, who don't play until tomorrow. So, can't wait to watch him. I think the Nets are going to be really fascinating to watch. They essentially drafted 4 guards, and people ripped the Nets for drafting 4 players who can play point guard. But they're all different sizes. Drummond, the guard from BYU, he's 6'8". 2 of the other guards that they drafted are both 6'5". Danny Wolf is 6'11". So they're going to be able to play all 4 of those guys together. And like I don't think that that's a bad thing. Like having 5 guys on the floor who can all dribble, pass, and shoot, like that's what a lot of teams in the NBA are looking for. So how do those guys adjust to playing off the ball? That is the question, but it'll be fun. Gritty asking, are these just games, no summer league tournament? So Gritty, there's pool play, so you'll play like 4 or 5 games. Based on how you do in those, you then move on to the tournament, and they seed you differently and all that kind of stuff. So you play games followed by a tournament that I believe everyone makes. Everyone does not make them. A lot of the teams, I think like half the teams, make them. So we'll see how it goes, but I am very intrigued to kind of see how it all plays out. In case you missed it, major news. DeAndre Ayton has not received a text message from LeBron James or Luka Doncic. Oh my goodness. What are they going to do? Are they going to trade DeAndre Ayton? I don't know. But the Huff trade, I was talking to my good buddy Matt Murphy the other day, and we were talking about the Pacers center situation. This was fresh after some pickleball. And I am so excited for James Wiseman just to kind of see what he looks like. He's coming off of the Achilles, but he's reportedly, this is what Kevin Pritchard said. Kevin Pritchard said that he's really developed as a shooter. Look, if he can shoot and he can rim run and he can block shots a little bit, like the guy was the number 2 overall pick in the NBA draft for a reason. Why is my brother calling me? I'm on the air. What's he doing? What was I saying? Wiseman, number 2 overall pick for a reason. Super talented. Just had a pretty rough start to his NBA career, but I think this is a great guy for the Pacers to take a flyer on because he's a really talented player. So can't wait to kind of see what this Pacers team looks like this next season. It's a different excitement for the Pacers this next year because let's be honest, like they're not going to go back to the NBA Finals. Like they're not going to do anything like that, right? But like a little more Mathurin, a little more Jarris Walker, James Wiseman seems interesting. Jay Huff seems pretty intriguing as well as players. So I'm just excited to kind of see this next development year for the Pacers. And it starts tonight in the G League. What does Johnny Furphy look like? What does Talon Peter look like? We don't get to see Cam Jones, sadly, but whenever he shows up, like what is he going to look like? So on and so forth. So big year coming up for the Indiana Pacers just from a future standpoint when Tyrese Halliburton gets back, who's important, who's not, who's worth moving on from, who's worth keeping, all of those important things. And once again, that starts tonight in the NBA Summer League. That's going to do it here on The Real Jonathan Smith Show. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to tune in. I will be back not this Monday, but next, whatever day that is. I'm going on vacation. My wife and I, we are going on a cruise. Can't wait. I will take any and all cruise tips. If you have any, __ Jonathan Smith on Twitter. If you want to tweet at me, I'll take all the tips that I can get. I've never been on one. My wife has never been on one, but we're going to do a bunch of fun stuff. Hopefully I'm going to come back with a million awesome stories. It's going to be good. So thank you again for tuning in. Have fun watching the Summer League. When I come back, we're getting straight into Colts training camp. Who's good? Who's bad? Quarterback competition, football. I can smell the grass already, and we'll be talking about it when I come back here in about a week. So thank you again for listening. The Dan Dawkins Show comes your way next. Going to be a great show. I'll talk to you when I get back from vacation.